Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to World of Warships in our Friday edition video, where we're going to be taking the new Tier 9 British battleship, the Marlborough, the dockyard event ship, into battle. So we're going to see what happens, so hopefully the battle turns out halfway decent. I thought I'd just change things up and do a bit more of a live commentary and featuring this ship on a first take. So the Marlborough is an okay ship. I don't see anything too exciting about her. For me, when I'm looking at the ship, I'm kind of more leaning towards taking other Tier 9 ships into battle versus the Marlborough. But I'm going to show you just what I take in terms of combat signals. Probably what we're going to do is, let's see. I don't think we're going to have to worry about ramming because we do not want to be getting close to the enemy in this ship, especially at Tier 9. So I'm going to increase my fire chance. The big thing that revolves around the Marlborough is her main battery in terms of number of guns. Not that the guns are great at Tier 9, just the number of guns. And that we're focused on increasing our chances of causing a fire from 24 to 26% when we add these two signals. Yeah, and that's a brief look of just what I have mounted there. So we're just about to dip into battle, but we should probably I'll just show you the armor briefly. You have 32mm on the bow and stern, and then the armor, the Citadel, I'll just expose that for you. Yeah, I've got beyond the front turret and the rear turret, so you really have to watch how much side you show in the Marlborough. So I'm going to read from the WoW's Wiki as the battle drops this in. And the WoW's Wiki hits it pretty much on the head. The Marlborough is a demanding ship to play with a very light armor and exposed citadel for its class and rank. Its 14-inch guns, 356mm, will see its AP broadside overmatched even against lower tier vessels. In a straight shootout with any battleship, including lower tier or high-level cruisers, players may find themselves trading poorly. Right, so we are mid-tier. The Marlborough does, however, benefit from a modestly large health pool than its typical for its tier to resist withering from HE, as well as its fast rudder shift common to premium tier 9 ships. It also boasts an impressive 16 guns in an 8 front, 8 back configuration and a rapid 25-second reload. Players should avoid exposing their broadside.
Action stations.
So we get our guns moved over. At all costs, even to equal tier cruisers, this will involve sacrificing the ability to bring all 16 guns to bear due to extremely poor gun angles common to many British high tier battleships. However, due to having 8 guns front and back, players will still have a competitive 8 guns while allowing for optimum angling to reduce incoming damage. Players should focus on using HE at long range, particularly in the early phase of the battle to start fires. The low caliber of the main battery makes AP at range extremely inefficient with very high incident of ricochet, even against cruisers. AP should be only used for closer range exchanges when broadside is exposed, when the shell is not dependent on arching fire to punch through armor. A half salvo of 8 AP rounds, even from Marlborough's light guns, can do significant damage at short range when you can guarantee a high hit rate, and if you're lucky, can penetrate the Citadel. A 25-second reload allows for very rapid shell switching if taken gun feeder in main battery modification 3, which reduces reloaded shell switch to just 9 seconds and volley time to 22 seconds to assist optimum shell usage at all times. Poor shell usage may find a player equally splitting their damage 50-50 between AP and HE through a game. Pros: 16 guns, very quick main battery reload speed, improved HE penetration, 89mm, good speed and rudder shift for tier 9 battleship. Great concealment when fully upgraded, as low as 12.1 kilometers. Slow main battery is a con and very poor firing arcs. Main battery accuracy overall is bad. Sigma's 1.4, so not good there at all. Small gun caliber cannot overmatch 25mm or thicker armor with AP shells. Very poor durability for a battleship, as we just keep it on the screen here. Weak external armor and massive exposed citadel block. No access to aviation or utility consumables. And we are already detected. So in playing the Marlborough, you want to play at range. And often you're going to find yourself maybe even somewhat kiting. Looks like somebody got a ship. Okay. You're going to find yourself playing at range, and you want to be utilizing your concealment. I mean, you can see even kiting away, the firing angle is not so great. So it looks like we have a destroyer somewhere out here on the flank. So that's actually going to be a pain. So I had a match not too long ago where I was just playing the Marlborough. We did 130,000 damage that battle, and 55,000 damage of that was just by setting fires. So you're really focusing on being a fire setter. Usually when you're trying to get all your guns off to fire, you're trying to do so while being dark, because you have to show so much side in general. So you can be cheeky in getting a whole salvo off.
Enemy cruiser detected.
And you're turning in.
Enemy battleship sighted.
Something like that. So when you fire, you do what I did. You angle away, because you can just take a lot of damage if you're not conscious. And even though you have a large number of guns, these guns aren't great. They're not the greatest thing out there. You can do a lot better. There's a lot of other tier 9 ships that I prefer playing over the Marlborough. But for purposes of showcasing the ship to you, of course I'm going to play it and showcase it off.
Battleship sighted.
Okay, so we're going to start turning out again. We got 2 fires. I wonder if he's got his DCPs. Damage control party is burnt. No. Okay, so now we're going to really focus on setting the Carnot on fire. The fire setting chance, even though it's 26%, sorry. Sometimes I kind of think it should be higher, but I think with the number of guns Wargaming was keeping it lesser in that regard, just because you have good chances of setting fires with just the sheer number of guns. Alright, they have the Kleber and the Kagero. Okay, so now there's a fire. We're going to see if we can't get another fire going. Our mid is really wide open right now. But if we can keep focusing this guy, that would be really good. So you can see I'm just playing just outside the concealment range for the Carnot can't light me. And this is a DD that gets in between us. So that helps. Ideally, if you get both, all your turrets firing at the same time, it's probably a little more ideal. Because if I'm firing them off alternatively, like I was, you just stay lit the whole time. So I was just going to hold our shot there, wait until we go dark, and we'll try to start focusing on firing the guns again. So you really only want to show the side when you're dark like this, so I'm going to turn in and support our gearing. The enemy is not really present on this flank. See, they've already lost the Minotaur, right? Yeah, Minnow was gone that we saw. It's just this FDG in Alabama. He might get outside, yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to move up on this flank using our really good concealment. So with Adrenaline Rush right now, our reload time is looking to be 20.9 seconds, so pretty good. Other things to talk about with this ship. I mean, you can kind of see the even poor firing angle. So if we're going forward, I have to show basically this much side to get all these guns off, which not hot. So you have to discipline yourself in not showing too much side constantly. So if you have a target focusing you, let's say you're bow in, then you really have to discipline yourself not to turn and expose your side just to get the rear turrets off. Maybe you get to go dark and you can kite, and you just keep utilizing the rudder shift, which is decent here in the Marlborough, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. And just kind of rock the ship back and forth to get all your turrets off. one of the things I don't like about the Marlborough, I mean, there's several things I don't like. It just seems really weak armor. I feel like the gun should have a slightly higher fire setting chance, but that's maybe just me. Is lack of consumables. So you only have your repair party. You have nothing else. And it kind of seems that way with a lot of the Dockyard ships that Wargaming has been doing. They're just not... You don't see many of them on a regular basis in the game. Odin probably is the most of any of them. But otherwise, you just don't see many. I mean, I've rarely seen Anchorage, and that was an American cruiser, I think tier 8. You have the Dutch cruiser, which isn't too bad. I didn't complete for the German cruiser, or not cruiser, sorry, destroyer. I just wasn't impressed by it. So it's just, I don't know. Wargaming is, the Repulse was, I think, much better overall ship to get. Let's see if we can get this Marlborough on fire here. Let's see, he's turning in something like that. So the lack of consumables, I mean, even if they had a, like, let's say a 3-kilometer hydroacoustic search, like the short range one, right? Like that would actually be kind of nice to have, like you have on the Incomparable. But just to give it a little something extra would be nice.
All stations reporting the position of a strategic target.
Alright, we're dark, but the Kleber is pushing us, so I'm actually gonna turn. We're gonna turn out a little bit. We're gonna go for him actually. We have 16 guns, right? Did we lead enough, even though he's going fast? Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Now, let's see. We have the concern that he could utilize the island and draw the distance in closer in on us. But at the same time, he might not. Yeah, he's already turning away. I'd like to get the front turrets off on the Marlborough. Make sure I'm not going to clip that island. Yeah. So even when I'm playing the ship, I just naturally find myself getting into more of a kiting position when I go to engage the enemy, just because of the weak armor. But our team is actually doing pretty decent. Let's just go for Alabama. Where's he looking? He's not looking at us. I think he's gonna try to go away behind the island. So we can utilize this island and fire over without being lit. I mean, even the WoW's Wiki article, how it talked about, even when you face ships that are, let's say, same tier as you, even a battleship. I mean, I would be scared going up against an Iowa, an Izumo, an Alaska, just because I feel like those ships would just outdo me much more than what I would be capable of doing. So this battle is actually about to wrap up, probably. Yeah, he's just too far away. See, is he moving? I can't tell. Looks like he's reversing, maybe.
We're winning. Try not to do anything stupid.
So this ship, the way I recommend the play style is just to play at range, use your concealment, be mindful not to show too much side when you're getting your guns off, because you can get yourself in a world of hurt. And I went ahead and just used my heal just because I'm about to engage this Conqueror, and I'd like to just go ahead and have another heal up if I should need it. But this Conqueror is really not paying attention to us. The dispersion of these shells are really wide. They have a tighter vertical dispersion than they do horizontal dispersion, despite having a really bad sigma value of 1.4. So even though, I mean, it kind of, in some ways, the Marlborough feels just like a really cheap version of the Bourgogne. The Bourgogne is a steel ship, French steel ship. I think is fantastic. And this just feels like a really cheap version of it at tier 9, but British. Some good fire setting in. So, I mean, yeah, the ship's alright, but I think it's meh. I don't think it's, you just have to discipline yourself in using the ship that you're not exposing yourself, making yourself vulnerable. You're kiting, enemy team's pushing in. You definitely want to kite away. And then you saw we didn't have anything really going on there. Those battleships just kind of abandoned the flank, so we went a little bit without any enemy engagement there. But we did 82,000 damage, 9 set on fires. We probably could have took that up more if the enemy team hadn't collapsed so quickly. Yeah, 1,300 base experience. I didn't figure we'd score very high with that. But this North Carolina player, he did good in good old Iowa. I'm going to throw some compliments to these guys these ways. Yeah. So, I mean, the Minotaur died really quick on our flank. The Destroyer died really quick on our flank, and then the FDG and I can't remember what the other ship was. They just abandoned the flank, the Alabama. So we went a little bit there without any action, but we did get to utilize the flank and pushing up and causing some pressure versus just sailing into the center. That's what I like, especially when you're able to do it in situations like that. So I did 26,000 damage with fires. Didn't get to let them tick for too long, but they did on a couple ships. Yeah, so that is the experience with Marlborough. We'll do an upgrading commander build with her tomorrow. Marlborough is definitely a glass cannon type of ship, so play her accordingly. And when I say glass cannon, a lot of guns, but really weak armor and very vulnerable. But Wargaming kind of gave her a little bit of additional health pull buff because of that. So they did try to trade off with the ship somewhat well, but I haven't really been impressed with these dockyard ships so far that Wargaming has done. So as I said, tomorrow we're doing upgrading commander build. We'll look at the modules, the upgrades, the commander skills, the one consumable of the health, and I'll give you my thoughts and recommendations for this ship. So if you liked today's battle, give it a thumbs up. If you did not, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you're subscribed, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. And we'll catch you next time. Take care.